what's going on? Got a bit of free time right now. I'm home alone. Honestly, I probably should be spending this time editing the last video that I filmed. I got about halfway through editing it and put it down and haven't picked it back up since. But since I've got a little bit of free time, that's the best time for me to actually get one of these dumb fucking videos filmed. And then I can edit it when I'm bored. Things have been a bit strange recently. I've not been working my normal shifts, and I actually have like weekend days off instead of days off right in the middle of the week. So I've been losing track of the days pretty much daily. And you know, it should be returning to normal relatively soon, but I don't know, I guess we'll see. But I'm going to St. Louis tomorrow to get tattooed. But, you know, getting my fucking torso tattooed always puts me out for a few days. I never want to do shit in the days immediately following getting, like, my stomach tattooed. So it seems like a good time to, you know, to have some shit to edit. Which is why I'm trying to get this filmed now. I think I might have mentioned it in the last video, but maybe not. I'm also going to Alaska in a couple weeks. And I think I will probably have 2 videos done between now and then. Hopefully. I don't know, we'll see. But if not, you guys will get something pretty soon after, maybe. I don't know. I'm so fucking inconsistent with this type of thing. Whatever. Let's get into this shit. What we're listening to in the background, I finally got a CD copy of Unhallowed. Fucking all these years later. I have no idea why it took so long. I think I have the LP and I know the album so well. I already had it on my iPod and stuff, so I just never owned the CD copy. Whatever. So we don't really have a theme this time around, though we are kind of all over the place. Got some death metal, got some black metal, got some like post-punk type stuff, got some like thrash metal type stuff. So we're all over the place. All right, you're gonna have to forgive an angle change if there is one. It'll return back to the way it was. After I talk about this record, I just was editing this video. I already started editing. I mean, it's just been an hour or so. I already started editing the video and realized pretty much the entirety of like me talking about this record was just a little bit blurry, and that shit, man, it drives me nuts because the last video I had a bit of a problem with like focusing. So let's do it again. The first thing we're going to start out with here is a record that, probably the record that I've been looking most forward to since the debut came out back in 2018. This is Amigo the Devil with Born Against. So I'm going to let myself get a little bit personal with this one because just Amigo the Devil as an entity means so much to me personally. So it was the day before Christmas Eve in 2018. I was leaving that day to drive to Florida, and it was going to be the very first time that I met Kaylee in person after years. I mean, we knew each other back in like 2013 or so, but you know, we hadn't seen each other in person in that long. And it was the day I was leaving. I was still at work, and my brother-in-law had sent me an Amigo the Devil song from the debut. It was Cocaine and Abel. And I played the song, played the whole album, Everything Is Fine, all the way through. Fell in fucking love immediately. And I sent a few songs to Kaylee, and she heard it and immediately, like I did, fell in love. Well, that whole drive to Florida, it was on repeat. The whole time I was in Florida, for like a week and a half or so, it was on repeat. And I saw Kaylee most days that I was down there. And she was playing the songs pretty much, you know, exclusively, and so was I. So it wasn't long after that she moved here to Kentucky, and, you know, both of us just had those songs, like, programmed into our minds. And in the first few weeks that she lived here, we would spend some of our nights just getting fucked up and dancing and singing along to Amigo the Devil songs. And it was just, you know, it's just some of my favorite memories. And so since then, I'd been looking forward to the follow-up to Everything Is Fine. And I genuinely thought there was absolutely no way that Everything Is Fine could be matched. And finally, in 2021, we get the sophomore full-length album, Born Against. And I tell you what, dude, when I heard that this was happening, I could not stop counting the fucking days until it was released. And then finally in December of last year, we got the first single, which was Another Man's Grave. One of the, I guess, slower, sadder songs on the album, with some of the best lyrics on the album, in my opinion. The song Small Stone is one of the slower songs on the album, but it builds to what absolutely is the most impressive vocal delivery we've ever gotten in an Amigo the Devil song. Just in the final lyrics of the song, I'll show you the pain of getting clean. And of course, after that, we got Quiet as a Rat, which was a song that incorporates like the heavy use of tuba. And I think that's really, really interesting. And it's also, again, very in line with a lot of the Amigo the Devil stuff in terms of the lyrics. Just witty lyrics all over the place. Then we got Murder at the Bingo Hall, which that for me, when that song came out, was my favorite that I'd heard so far. And to this day, it's, you know, one of my favorite songs on this record. But it's another song that sort of subverts your expectations, because when somebody like Amigo the Devil writes a song and calls it Murder at the Bingo Hall, you expect it to be, I guess, a bit darker than you know, what it is on the face of it. Because on the surface, the song is just about somebody with a bingo addiction and somebody who's really, really good at it, which is also funny because bingo is literally just a game of chance. But maybe a bit below that, maybe it is a song more about addiction, which is something that Amigo the Devil has definitely dabbled in throughout his discography so far. Then the songs Drop for Every Hour and Better Ways to Fry a Fish are two songs that, from what I understand and what I read in like the Rolling Stones feature about Amigo the Devil, what I understand are basically two iterations of the same idea. So I guess Danny here had a couple ideas of how he wanted to finally write a song about Albert Fish, because throughout, you know, his discography, he's written about serial killers. But he felt, I guess he felt like writing a song about somebody like Albert Fish when he sort of targeted children just didn't sit right with him, so he wanted to find a different angle. And the angle that he took was writing the song from the perspective of the father of Grace Budd, which, if you know about the Albert Fish story, that's the most famous of the story, simply because it came with the letter, the long letter that Albert Fish wrote the family of Grace Budd. So that song is written from the perspective of the father. And, you know, basically the father catching Albert Fish. So the original idea, I guess, turned into Better Ways to Fry a Fish, but the song Drop for Every Hour was sort of something that spun from that, I guess, from what I remember reading in the Rolling Stones interview. Then the song Different Anymore is another one of the sad ones. Another Man's Grave, which was a single. 24 Karat Casket seems to be like a sister song to One Kind of People, which was on one of the earlier EPs. The song Shadow is another one of the punchier songs on the record, in my opinion. It hits fucking hard, and it also incorporates the use of a clarinet on the song, which is really cool. And then one of my favorite songs on the album, again, is Letter from Death Row, which takes kind of like just gives you like a sympathetic look at, you know, somebody who's on death row. Probably for murder, just based on sort of some of the lyrics in the song. But it's fucking incredible, man. I can't help but have deep, deep respect for somebody who can write an album where every song is pretty different from every other song, and it's literally a perfect fucking 10 out of 10 record. I genuinely can't adequately express the love that I have for this album. Every single song, front to back, it's a perfect record. And I'm doing exactly what I said I didn't want to do, and I'm talking too much. So let me show you the album cover here. Just a picture of Danny himself. Ah, fuck! It's just a picture of Danny himself. I don't really love the album cover choice. They did a music video for Quiet as a Rat, and there was like a promotional image for that where he's like sitting in the grass with a fucking box of dirt on his head. I thought, since I saw that picture, that would probably have been a better album cover. But whatever, I don't know, it kind of has like an old sort of country music album feel to like the album cover. But you have the track listing on the front, and the back you have all the lyrics. I kind of wish they took the approach that Everything Is Fine did, where there was like a gatefold cover and like a booklet with lyrics or something, but they put all the lyrics on the back. But I like this up top. It says, "They only care before we're born and after we die. All we have is after we're born, before we die." Yeah, man, this doesn't come with anything. It's just black vinyl. All copies were on black vinyl, but you have the red label, a yellow label. Though all copies did come with a download code that sort of came in the form of like one of these like door handle things, just says "please keep quiet as a rat." But there is a download code on the back, which I still haven't used, and I do plan on it. So as much as I'd love to keep talking about this record, I really would prefer you guys go and listen to it. This is just my way of giving a round of applause to Amigo the Devil for putting out another perfect fucking album. In absolute shock, man. If you haven't heard this, if sort of the murder folk genre is anything that interests you, please, for the love of God, check this one out. That's Amigo the Devil with Born Against.
Mirror, mirror on the counter, covered in fine white powder. What the hell is fair at all? So I'll take a drop for every hour. She'll never dance.
Alright, moving on. I'm gonna reel those of you who may not have been super into like the Amigo the Devil thing. I'm gonna reel you back in with this one, because this is a fucking classic in death metal history, and probably a relatively important album too, considering like the trajectory of like the branches of death metal and where they went. Because on the topic of like slam metal, you can date that back to this. This is Suffocation with Effigy of the Forgotten. Oh my god. Dude, there's absolutely no reason it should have ever taken me this long to get this album. Though, you know, this one went like 20 something years without like a vinyl repress. So, you know, it's not entirely my fault, I guess. But this was pressed, you know, a couple times in the last handful of years. So it really all, like, the responsibility rests squarely on my fucking shoulders, because I should have had this now for a long time. So, this is the first Suffocation full-length album from 1991, directly following the Human Waste EP, which, you know, I have just grown to like more with time, because I got that album, like, I mean, I got the LP copy of that album back in 2013. It was one of the earlier records that I ever bought. And, you know, putting it on relatively recently as I did, I realized how much more I like it now than I did then. And I think that just comes from like an increasingly like heavy respect that I have for the early death metal stuff. And this is absolutely one of the best, man. Like I said, it's got what I think is the earliest example of like a slam breakdown. Of course, on the song Leisure and Veracity. And, you know, I mentioned Human Waste because this has some of the Human Waste songs on it. But yeah, this is a recent Listenable Records repress of this one. Classic fucking album cover. I think it was a Dan Seagrave album cover, right? It kind of looks like a sort of dystopian robot future or something. It just sort of looks like some weird dystopia. And there's like a robot tearing a human apart. I don't know. Interesting. There's the back cover right there. You got the shot of the band and all the track listings. Like I said, this is put out through Listenable Records. This is the most recent repress of this one, which was put on this really nice blue vinyl that was limited to 500 copies. And it does come with an inner sheet that includes another shot of the band. You got some like thanks and whatever, and all the lyrics on the other side there. Fucking fantastic, man. Like I said, one of the better albums in death metal, old school death metal history for sure. Great, sort of, kind of more on the technical end at some points. Lots of really cool, like barky kind of death metal growls. I'm not cluing anybody in on fucking Suffocation or Effigy of the Forgotten, but you know, I just wanted to show it because you know, I've been playing it and it's a good record. So. For some reason you've never heard this one, check it out. That's Suffocation with Effigy of the Forgotten. All right, let's talk about a weird one here. So this is I guess we can call it black metal for the sake of simplicity, but you know, just calling this black metal is very reductive, because this is a lot more than just black metal. And I'm kind of finding it tough to sort of explain this, but here it is. This is a Hula Broom with the John Keel sessions. So right off the bat, John Keel sessions is obviously a play on the John Peel sessions, which you know, was like a BBC radio show or something like that. But you know, it featured a lot of sort of classic death metal, grindcore bands, stuff like that. But John Keel was an author, and I guess he was also a ufologist. I assume that's this guy right here. But yeah, I know he was like sort of known most for like Mothman Prophecies, which was either like a series or a standalone like book. But I don't know, man. I wasn't familiar with John Keel until I got this record, and then I looked into it a bit, because a lot of these tracks have like dates and locations as the track name. So I looked, just a cursory look, to see if I could find any more information. For example, there's a song on here called April 23rd, 1976, Project City, California. But like, if you just typed that in with UFO or something like that, I couldn't find anything. But I'd like to go back and take another look, because like the ufology thing and just like aliens in general is a very interesting topic to pretty much everybody. And I like this. I think it's cool. It's also very unique in its sound, because like I said, this is not just black metal. There are like weird noise elements here. There are all sorts of like funky sound effects throughout this record, which, you know, kind of adds a sort of mysterious layer to it. But Hula Broom is a band that formed in West Virginia, which may be the link to the like John Keel and the Mothman shit, which obviously happened in West Virginia, or at least that's the, you know, the origin of the story. But it's interesting regardless. And this band formed back in like 2005, and basically just dropped a few demos and split. And this is a 2020 compilation that includes the demos, all 3 of them. I think there was 3. Fuck. But the song titles themselves are interesting, like 66th Encounter, Varied Entities, Triangles, Super Terrestrial. Like I said, there's ones with like dates and locations. Government Aircraft with a question mark. Mythological Engineering, Biological Entity, The Hoax of Majestic. I don't know, dude. It's just really, really interesting. And I'm glad I have my hands on this, because it's kind of unlike anything else that I have in my collection. Now, the style of the music does vary a bit from like demo to demo here. I think I think it's the Magonia demo. Ah, man, I think that's the one that's got the most like recognizable sort of like black metal on it. But it also includes the Phantom of Flatwoods demo and the Transitivity of Strangeness demo. And the tracks from an unreleased split with Vor Dim. I don't know. Really cool. Very, very little in terms of like recognizable melody here. But there are like sort of black metal wretches, and they're pretty like croaky. It's very cool. But let me show you what this looks like. So on the front you have who I assume is John Keel. And I think this was the on the cover of one of the demos. The back cover here, it's got the track listing sort of like framing an image of like a dead cow, which is cool, and a drawing of like an alien or something like that. But there's all sorts of really interesting shit on here. So this says, a Hula Broom plays outsider black noise. To gain a better understanding of the UFO/UAPs, the phenomenon should be studied within the framework of folklore, the unconscious, and demonology. A Hula Broom exists as a system by which various interdimensional intelligences communicate to terrestrial-bound entities. Methods involved in this transmission include landline telephone, radio, AM and FM, and electric interference. Just super fucking interesting, man. I like this a lot, and the music on here is also just strange, noisy, and very, very intriguing. This band was not around for very long, but This was put out through CXXIII, and I have number 25 out of 100. And the vinyl itself is just black, but you have, I think it's the same image on the front. Oh, it's not. No, this is the cover for one of the demos here. So that's just like additional artwork or something on the front. But there's the second, or that's the first label there. Yeah, that's a Hula and a Broom. But I don't know, this project wasn't around for very long, and I was pretty unfamiliar with the actual material, though I've known the name for a few years. I was pretty unfamiliar with the material when I saw this go up for sale. I actually got this secondhand from Discogs, but I got it for pretty cheap relative to how much I've seen people pay for it. But it's very interesting, and I would recommend looking more into it than what I will, you know, play in the song clip. But yeah, man, very cool. That's a Hula Broom with the John Keel sessions. Alright, moving on. This is a post-punk band, and I would say this is among the most popular post-punk bands, at least from what I've seen. This is Softkill with Dead Kids Rip City, or RIP City. So this is like the 6th or 7th full-length album from Softkill, and honestly, I'm largely unfamiliar with this band's discography, or at least a bulk of it. The only other thing I own from Softkill is the what's it called? Premium Drifter demo or whatever, I think, which only came out last year along with this album. So this is kind of an interesting one, and I won't go too into it because I'm not super familiar with the story of this, but from what I understand, this is a conceptual album about like a sort of dark version of Portland, and I guess it's a story told in 10 parts. Each song representing like a character or something like that. But the intrigue for me here is Softkill's ability to write just gorgeous post-punk that manages to feel like dark and tragic, but also just pretty at the same time. I love this, man. I don't know, I really want to go back and get some more shit from Softkill, because everything I've heard I truly, like, really love. And like I said, I only have 2 releases, and some of them, you know, some of the other releases are just out there sitting in distros and shit, and I just don't own them yet. So I'll get around to it, but for now, this is what I've got. This is a really nice quality packaging here. So I'm not certain why they decided to choose this as the album cover, but whatever. There's the back cover, just Dead Kids Rip City. Put out through Circle Social Records. It's CERCLE. I don't know. But it's this thing, like, you could kill somebody with this fucking jacket. It's super thick, very sturdy, really nice quality. But there's the gatefold there. You have one side with all the track listing, and the other side's got all the lyrics. And I do not remember what this was limited to. I think it was like 250 copies or something like that. I'll flash it on screen if I'm wrong. They called this Rainbow Candy Drip vinyl, which is just clear with multicolor splatter. I really like that label there, and the other label. So if you are a fan of post-punk just in general, then you already know about Softkill. But, you know, if you're not, then I would recommend looking into it, man, because there are some really good songs on here. The song Pretty Face is one of my favorites, along with Roses All Around, Oil Burner, The Pain. I don't know, I like it a whole lot, and I'd like to actually sit with this and read the lyrics and sort of get a better understanding of like the story of this album. But yeah, man, really nice. Check it out. That's Softkill with Dead Kids Rip City. Alright, moving on. We're gonna go back to the 1980s with some Brooklyn, New York, like thrash metal, I guess. with the second Carnivore album, Retaliation. So I talked about the debut Carnivore album, the self-titled album, years ago. Like, I think it was probably back in like 2016 or something like that. I talked about the first Carnivore album. And it took me, fuck man, I only just got this like 4 or 5 months ago, something like that. And I don't know why it took me so long to grab this. I mean, it had been repressed a couple times since I owned the first album, but I've always liked the first album more than this, and that's still true. Through and through, this is a very like over-the-top album that includes thrash elements as well as like crossover and hardcore and speed metal elements. The vocals pretty much are uniformly like angry and very unique to Pete Steele's vocals. There's lots of like gallopy drums and good riffs on this one. Yeah, I don't know, I fucking dig it. There's the album cover. Obviously this is not the original album cover. It's pretty much the same, but the original album cover, like, these guys are like detailed out and it's actually like colored. It's not like silhouettes of everything, because this kind of looks like the same picture but like at like 8 p.m. There's the back cover right there. You got the 3 members with the knives stuck into like a table or something. I think it's very cool. This was put out through Listenable Records again. It's got a gatefold, more pictures of the band, and all the lyrics. So the labels here are quite cool, but the vinyl themselves are just fucking gorgeous. It's a double LP, they both look like this, and it is 500 copies. So again, I'm not like cluing anybody in. We all know who Carnivore is, but I just wanted to show off the this newest repress because it looks pretty nice. I dig it, man. Check it out. It's Retaliation. Alright, man. Fuck. We gotta speed through this because, like, I'm already entering like 50 minutes of filming right now. Alright, more classic fucking death metal. This is Dymalek with Emptiness of Vanishing, Vanishing of Emptiness. Of course, it's like spelled with fucking letters and numbers. Basically, this is a 2018 compilation out through Svart Records that included everything leading up to the one and only Dymalek full-length album. So this band was not releasing shit for very long. It was literally just 3 or 4 years or something like that, and they're still around to this day in terms of like live shows and stuff like that. They just haven't recorded anything in a long time, which I would say is probably a good thing, because after, you know, 20-something years, you know, it's probably just not gonna be the same. So we're probably better off with them not recording any new material, but, you know, making the old stuff like widely available for people is great. So I wanted to grab that box set for years, and I just never did it for whatever reason. But, you know, I'm lucky that I saw this pop up because now I have all the Dymalek material regardless. I'm guessing everybody's familiar with Dymalek, but if you're not, it's just death metal that's sort of on the more technical end of the spectrum, but not so much so that it risks losing like its memorability. But everybody kind of knows Dymalek as being the band that's got the most ridiculous vocals to ever grace the genre of death metal. This is just great all the way through, and I just kind of wanted to talk about it because I really, really like this band, and I'd like to see them live one day, hopefully. But there's the album cover. Kind of just looks like a sort of mad scientist being like attacked by bugs that are coming out of this guy's body or some shit. There's the back cover right there, just some more art with like some guys in coffins, and you got all the track listing. This is a gatefold, and you have the original demo covers there, which is quite cool. But this also includes a booklet here that just has some like band pictures and shit, but I like this. It says Forget Sweden, pushing techno death grind with original vocals from Finland's premier death metal outfit. I guess this is in reference to the debut full-length album. But yeah, so just additional artwork. You have lyrics and stuff like that, which is cool. Again, this is a double LP, and I only have a couple other records that are this really like light icy blue color, which is very nice. This is limited to 400 copies, so I'm sure you've heard it, but if you haven't, these are pretty accessible. from what I've seen. So I'd recommend tracking one down because this is really, really good stuff. That's Dymalek with The Emptiness of Vanishing, Vanishing of Emptiness. Alright, we gotta finish this off. This is taking way too fucking long. So we're gonna cap it off here with a black metal full-length album that came out last year. And this is such a good record. I really wish that like the LP had come out last year and I got to really get familiar with the record. So I could have, you know, thrown it in on my best of list because this would have been up there. This is Moon Citadel with Nights, Scarlet, Symphonies. So this is this band's first full-length album after having been around for a handful of years. There was a couple demos dating back to 2016, which I have shown the compilation of before, I think. It was like The Night Calls to Wonder or something like that. But this band also underwent like a name change back in like 2014, 2015, maybe something like that, from Empire of Theraphyta. And that band did a split with Drowning the Light, which I've had for years. So, you know, it's cool to finally hear a full-length album. And this is such a good record, man. It's very, very epic and grandiose sounding. It relies pretty heavily on like the symphonic elements, but I think it works really, really nicely because those heavy synth elements are used perfectly to back up like really, really epic, memorable riffs. The vocals here are not super unique in any way. They kind of border on howls at points, which I, you know, really like, but besides that, they're kind of your standard wretches. The third song on here, Dweller of the Lotus Moon, is my personal favorite. I like the use of the synths on that song more than all the others, but also that song has like a bit of a folky lean to it, which I like a lot. The album cover is quite cool. It's just kind of like a red hellscape. There's the back cover. It kind of looks like an active volcano or something. We got all the track listing, and this was, of course, put out through Werewolf Records. This is a gatefold. 2 drawings of the band members there, and all the lyrics on the other side. The lyrics are in English, which is good. And it doesn't come with anything, but I did manage to get like the red, black, marbly, semi-translucent vinyl, which looks very nice. So if like In the Night Side Eclipse type black metal is the shit you like the most, then Moon Citadel is right up your alley. So check it out. This is a great fucking first album, and there's no way you can play this and not love it. So that's Nights, Scarlet, Symphonies. And that's it, man. Fuck, this has been like an hour of filming, which is completely unnecessary because I'm gonna edit this down to like less than half of that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and we will talk soon. Later.